Hello. First, I want to welcome you to a brand new theory and video series called Creation Cycle Part. This is part 1. There's 2 parts to it. You must listen to the videos and not try to read the transcripts because they are gibberish. In this video series, I will be talking about the creation cycle from the beginning of time through some of the changes that have occurred right up to present time. If you continue through to the end of the series, you will see how the dots connect. Now, this is going to answer a lot of questions that people have about how all this got created, the planets, the stars, the sun, all that stuff. You know, we say God created the universe. Well, okay. But there's a lot of people that don't believe that that's exactly correct. So, by going through this video series, it's going to connect the dots, and there's probably going to be some things, you know, that you're not going to agree with. Write those down, and then you can reply after you've finished this these two video the two video parts. They're probably going to be somewhere around 15 minutes each, so take notes if you need to. And we have a lot of people that have asked this question: does God exist, and if so, how can we prove it? To answer this, we need to have some basics to go by. For one, a cycle of action. So it has a start, a change, or a middle, and a stop. That is a complete cycle of action. You are starting this creation cycle video, and as we go through it, it's going to change. And then when we get to the end of it, that'll be the end of the part 1. And that will be a completed cycle for this particular video. So, the formula, this is another basic, for finding out what happened in an incident is to find the start of the incident. Well, that seems too simple, doesn't it? Well, the time that the incident took place is not the start of the incident. It is actually the change or the middle of it. Remember, start, change, and stop. 3 things to complete a cycle. You have to go back in time to find out where the start actually exists. Once you find the start, the problem of the incident will solve, and all questions surrounding that incident can be answered within the reality of the incident. You can't just make up a solution or explanation unless it's within the reality of the incident. So, if the incident isn't solving, you haven't found the start of the incident. You have to find out what the people were doing, what was happening, and what was going on before the incident. Well, now how far back in time do you have to go to find the start of the incident? Well, sometimes within hours, a day, a week, a month, even years. You can use this formula on any incident that you are researching and have success. Now, for this creation cycle, we need to go back hundreds of billions of years. We have to understand we are in the middle of the creation cycle at this point in time. The creation cycle has a start, a change, and an end. That's what a cycle of action is. It hasn't changed since all the creation cycles that have happened. Now, I would say this isn't our first creation cycle. There have been others before this one. We have the Bible that tells us God created the earth, the heavens, and the stars in about 6 days and rested on the seventh. Well, for me, this will not work. Why would he do this all by himself? When a building is built, does just one person build it? No, it takes hundreds of people to build a skyscraper. So let's rethink this and reverse it to see if that fits better. At the beginning of the creation cycle, there is just one. Now, there you have God. Some people call this the Supreme Being. But I have another name for it, Prime Creator. Prime meaning the main one, and someone who primes the pump, so to speak. Creator, the creator of life, and life is spiritual. You can't have anything that is alive without something spiritual making it go. Unless it is the wind blowing a leaf or something like that. If it is alive, there is something spiritual there operating that body. You've heard people say their animals seem almost human. Well, there is a spirit there. It just doesn't have the ability to talk to you. The fourth dimension is the spiritual dimension. It is where your thoughts and memories are. Your mind is there in the fourth dimension as well. They work hand in hand. It is where your thoughts and memories are. The fourth dimension works hand in hand with the third dimension. Yeah. I mean, what you see around you and you feel and touch and all that, that's physical, that's the third dimension. However, what you're thinking right now, that is in the fourth dimension. The spiritual dimension does exist. It has to. Otherwise, we wouldn't exist. Okay, Prime Creator is just one at this point. He is alone. And we all know what you do when you're alone, don't you? We go out and find someone to talk to. So at the start of the creation cycle, Prime Creator doesn't have anyone to talk to, so he's got an ability to do something else. He splits in two. Now, what do you have? Two Prime Creators? In theory, yes, because they have the same abilities. But Prime Creator is now gone. There is no more Prime Creator here at that point because he's split in two. He's something else now. And what you have is two creator gods. Now they split, and it's the rabbit theory. When you go to 4, then to 8, to 16, to 32, to 74, on and on until you get to hundreds of thousands, hundreds of billions. We have about 8 billion on this planet alone. Now all of these creator gods have prime creator abilities. This explains the passage in the Bible that says all beings were created equal and in prime creator's own image, right? That's what that Bible tells us. Now that saying makes sense now, doesn't it? All right, that's one dot connected right there. You see? Not even some priests fully understand what that's saying. It says, because we're stuck on this planet in a certain condition, and I'm going to get to that in due time here. We have to go through one step at a time to connect the dots correctly. Okay, it is these creator gods, which we call ETs today, that create the universe and the third dimension. They create what they want. God did not create the third dimension. Why would he do that? He's not an authoritative God, and then he creates the people and says, here's your playground, go play in it. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. The golden rule doesn't work that way, and well, I'm going to get to what the golden rule is all about, because you've never been taught the golden rule correctly. But I'm going to explain that very shortly here. They create what they want. The creator gods, the split from prime creator, they're all from source. We are all from source, by the way. And that means they create the third dimension. They create the planets, the moons, the suns, the stars, everything on those planets. They create it. Actually, we created it, because we are creator gods, whether you know that or not. There is no being that is not from source, which is prime creator. We all come from source and are sovereign beings, and we cannot be killed. No part of prime creator can be extinguished. You don't think prime creator would set himself to be killed, do you? It just can't happen. Our bodies can be killed, that's for sure, because they are physical. Now, these creator gods create bodies to incarnate into. Now, why would they do this? This is so they can have a life and play out a game. There are very few ETs that don't incarnate. All this creation is just games. You need freedoms, barriers, and a purpose or goal, and you have a game condition. And that is what we have on this planet, and on every other planet in the third dimension. You have matter, energy, space, and time, and we are also on a timeline. In part 2 of this series, I will explain why we no longer have our Creator God abilities, because that's what you're asking now, isn't it? If we're Creator gods, where the heck have those abilities gone to? How did we lose them? Well, please go on to part 2 now, and I'll talk with you there. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.